Most people spend their entire lives doing things that drain them, and they call it relaxing. But what if I told you that just 3 hobbies, the right 3, could literally rewire your brain, your body, and your bank account? And nobody talks about this combination. Look, I used to think hobbies were just things you did to kill time. Like, oh cool, you collect stamps. Good for you, Steve. But then I stumbled across this idea, and it kind of broke my brain a little. There's a quote floating around the internet. Nobody knows exactly who said it first, but it goes something like, you need 3 hobbies. One that makes you money, one that keeps you fit, and one that keeps you creative. Simple, right? Almost too simple. But once you actually break down why this works and how to pick the right ones for your life, everything changes. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a framework that most people never figure out until way too late.
The problem. Here's the thing nobody admits. Most of us are running on empty. We go to work, we come home tired, we open Netflix or TikTok or whatever the algorithm has for us that day, and before we know it, it's midnight, and we've watched 14 videos about people we don't know doing things we'll never do. And it's not laziness, it's not a character flaw. It's just that nobody ever gave us a system for how to spend our free time in a way that actually fills us back up instead of emptying us out further. The average person has about 4 to 5 hours of free time every day. That's not nothing. That's actually a lot. But most of that time gets swallowed up by passive consumption, stuff that feels good in the moment but leaves you feeling kind of hollow afterward. You ever finish a 3-hour Netflix binge and feel like worse? Like somehow more tired than before? Yeah, that's not a coincidence. Now, I'm not here to tell you to delete your apps and go live in the woods. That's not realistic, and honestly, who has time for that? What I am saying is that there are 3 categories of hobbies, and when you have at least one from each category, something genuinely shifts. And here's the twist. It doesn't matter what the specific hobby is. It's the combination that creates the magic. Let me explain.
Hobby number 1, the one that makes you money. The first hobby is the one that makes you money. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, that's just a second job, hear me out, because there's a really important difference between a side hustle that drains you and a money-making hobby that actually excites you. Think about it this way. Most people have skills that use at work that they kind of hate, and then they have things they're naturally good at that they've never thought to monetize. Maybe you're weirdly good at explaining things, or you have an eye for design, or you can cook, teach yoga, edit photos, build spreadsheets, write, literally anything. The goal here isn't to hustle yourself into the ground. The goal is to find one thing that you'd probably do for free anyway, and slowly, intentionally, figure out how that skill can create some kind of income. Because here's what this hobby actually does for you, beyond the money. It builds confidence. There is something deeply powerful about knowing that if everything went sideways tomorrow, you could figure it out. That you have something in you that the world will actually pay for. I think about someone like Jamie, a regular office worker who started teaching guitar on weekends, not to get rich, just because he loved it and a neighbor asked. Within a year, he had 8 students and was making more on weekends than some people make in a full work week. Did his life change overnight? No, but his relationship with himself changed. He stopped feeling like a passenger in his own life, and that's the real ROI of this hobby. So ask yourself, what do people ask me for help with? What comes easy to me that seems hard to everyone else? Start there, even 1 hour a week. Because the next hobby, this one surprised me the most, and it has nothing to do with money.
Hobby number 2, the one that keeps you fit. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Move your body. Great, never heard that before. But this isn't about losing weight or having a six-pack, and I promise I'm not going to lecture you about vegetables. This is about finding a physical activity that you actually look forward to. And that's the key word, forward to. See, most people think of exercise as punishment, like something they have to endure to undo the damage of existing. And when you feel that way about it, you'll quit, every time. You'll start every January, quit every February, and feel vaguely guilty about it until the cycle repeats. But the moment you find physical movement that doesn't feel like medicine, that feels like play, everything changes. For some people, it's martial arts. For others, it's hiking, or dancing, or swimming, or chasing their kids around the park. It doesn't matter what it looks like. What matters is that it gets you out of your head and into your body. And the science here is genuinely wild. Regular physical activity doesn't just improve your body, it literally changes your brain chemistry, reduces anxiety, sharpens focus, improves sleep, makes you more emotionally resilient. You know those days where everything at work was a disaster, and then you went for a run, and somehow it didn't feel that bad anymore? That's not magic. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. And here's what I think is the most underrated part of this hobby. It teaches you to be uncomfortable. When you're in the middle of a hard workout or a long hike or a tough sparring session, you're learning to sit with discomfort and keep going. And that skill, that transfers everywhere, to your work, to your relationships, to every hard thing you'll ever face. The body that shows up for itself also shows up for everything else. Now, the third hobby, this one might be the most undervalued of all three, and it's also the weirdest one to explain. But once you hear it, you'll probably think of it for the rest of your life.
Hobby number 3, the one that keeps you creative. The third hobby is the one that keeps you creative. And I know, be creative sounds like something your third-grade teacher put on a motivational poster, but I want to flip how you think about this. Creativity isn't about being talented. It's not about making something good enough to show other people. It's about having an outlet that's purely yours, something you do with no audience, no performance, no metric, just making. In a world where everything is quantified, your steps, your sleep score, your productivity output, your follower count, there is something almost rebellious about doing something just because it feels good to make it. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's writing poems you'll never publish. Maybe it's building model trains, or growing tomatoes, or playing piano badly in your living room at 10 p.m. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the outcome is secondary to the process. Here's why this matters for your mental health in a very real way. Most of us are stuck in evaluation mode all day long. Every email is judged, every decision has consequences, every project has a grade. But creative hobbies put you in flow state, that mode where you lose track of time, you're fully absorbed, and your brain actually gets to rest while still being active. It's like a defrag for your mind. And there's something else. Creative hobbies connect you to yourself in a way that nothing else quite does. You start to understand what you like, what you feel, what you think, not what the algorithm is feeding you, not what your boss needs from you, but you. That kind of self-knowledge is quietly powerful. It shows up in how you make decisions, how you handle stress, how you talk to yourself. So if you don't have a creative hobby right now, that's not a personality flaw. You just haven't found your thing yet. Start small. Try something. Make something ugly. Make it anyway.
The wrap-up. So here's the deal. One hobby that makes you money, one that keeps you fit, one that keeps you creative. You don't need 10 hobbies. You don't need to become a completely different person by next Monday. You just need one small thing in each of these 3 lanes, and you feed it, little by little. Because what these 3 hobbies do, together, is build a version of you that's more whole. You have financial agency. You have physical resilience. You have creative expression. And when you have all 3, you stop feeling like your life is just happening to you. You start feeling like you're actually in it. That's not a small thing. That's actually kind of everything. So here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of the 3 hobbies do you already have, and which one are you missing? I read every single comment, and I'm genuinely curious what you guys are going to say. And if this video gave you even one useful thing today, hit subscribe. I make videos like this every week, and I'd love to keep showing up in your feed. See you in the next one.